Live, live, live. How's it going, everybody? Prime time. Live. Bruce here with Traveling with Bruce. How you guys doing tonight? Sorry, I'm just scrambling here to get everything set up as quick as I can. I'm trying to figure out my lighting. It's crazy. How you guys doing? Welcome to my 8 o'clock Eastern time show, my second one today. Tuesdays and Thursdays are show days, and I want to thank you all for joining me today. Had a great show at 5 o'clock. A lot of fun. A lot of good points were made, questions, and no fist fights. Nothing out of control. Nothing untoward happened today. It's all good. I'm just checking my phone to make sure I'm doing everything correct here. Make sure I don't have any sounds going, making any funny noises. Today's show, I've got a couple of questions for you, got a couple of topics for you guys. Going to bring up a few things and see what your thoughts are today. Just double checking something else here because I'm not seeing things properly here. It looks like 10 of you are watching. I got 7 thumbs up already. Thank you so much. 7 thumbs up. Fabulous. Okay, here we are. Just trying to get it all together. Sometimes it's a bit of a scramble to get ready for the show. Earlier today, on the 5 o'clock show, I was mentioning to everybody how the channel is growing and how we were sitting at 1,186 subscribers yesterday after the show at 5. And here I am, just as I was starting 5 o'clock, we were at 1199. And I was saying the next subscriber is going to be my 1,200. Well, we got our 1,200 subscriber while we were on the air last show. 1,202 right now. Another couple on top of that. So another 16 subscribers since yesterday. The channel keeps growing. It just keeps plugging away. It just keeps chugging and finding these great people to come and join in on the show. I love it. It's fantastic. And I welcome all of you in here who are watching me from wherever you are in the world. We have viewers from Canada, the United States, from Mexico, from Cayman Islands. I would like to get some Mexican viewers. That'd be kind of neat. Japan, the UK, and those of you in the UK who are watching me, I have to give you kudos because right now you're dealing with the beast from the east. This massive Siberian-based blizzard moved over from the east all the way over to the UK, and Britain is getting it, but getting it good. And schools are closed, roads are closed, people can't go to work. It's unbelievable. So they're getting whacked over there. Now here in Creston, British Columbia, Canada, it's usually pretty calm around here. I'm surrounded by mountains, by the way, all around me here. But we aren't in what we would call a windy canyon mountainy area. Thank God. The mountains here really keep everything calm and sedate. We hit a high today of about 35, 36 degrees, and we're just melting away, but we were cloudy all day. And about a couple hours ago, just as I was on my show, the first show today, we started to kind of sleet and rainy kind of sort of weather. It's really dreary, really gray. That's why this lighting is on all over the place, and that's why my forehead looks like it's shining here. I need lighting in here, so otherwise I'd look like I'm in a dark cavern somewhere. As I'm getting no help from the outside, even though, well, sun sets in the next 20 minutes anyway, but it's just gloomy looking. Yucky was the word at 5 o'clock today, 5 o'clock Eastern. The word was yucky, and that's what everything was. So that's what I'm saying. Those of you who are new, who've never watched this show before, I'm Bruce with Traveling with Bruce. It's my YouTube channel name. I'm burping, excuse me. And I love talking about traveling. I love talking about going on cruise ship vacations. I love talking about traveling in general. And I've made a bunch of videos out there on my channel talking about how you can get a really good deal on a cruise, how you should pack for a cruise, what you should take with you, what you might leave at home. Don't bother taking. And then we talk about how you can save money on get a 5-star luxury vacation at a 3-star price. Really make it efficient and effective for you. How you can take advantage of the rules, what you're allowed to bring on board, like alcohol. Can you bring any on board? Yes, you can bring a bottle of wine per adult. Bring your cola with you, like your soft drinks or your energy drinks, especially your energy drinks. If you're into Red Bull or some of these other drinks that are $3, $4, $5 a can, $5, $6 at a bar, they're going to be that expensive on a cruise ship. If you can buy them for $1, $1.50, and not spend $6 on a cruise, save $4.50 a drink or whatever the amount is, because the cruise line will add an 18% tip on top of the charge. you can save a ton of money. I mean, you bring 20 of those on board, 2 or 3 dozen cans of Coke, and oh my goodness, you're saving $120 on pop and drinks. You might save $30, $40 per bottle on a couple of bottles of wine. That's you're saving over $200 just watching me. Just watching me, you blabber on. You've already saved $200. Become a shareholder of Carnival or Royal Caribbean or Norwegian Cruise Line. Own 100 shares, just long enough for the cruise. Get those shares about a month before you go on your cruise. You can prove to the cruise line you're a shareholder of the company. You get a $100 cabin credit on a 7-day cruise. You can get up to a $250 cabin credit on a 15-day repositioning cruise. This is a good deal. After the cruise is over, you can always sell the stock if you don't want to hold it anymore. Otherwise, you're taking multiple cruises a year. You hold the stock for a long-term investment. Some of these shares pay dividends. You can use these discounts on every cruise you take. It's unlimited, and it's over and above any deal that the cruise line gives you. So if you're taking a cruise booking with a travel agent, or you're doing what I do through vacationstogo.com. By the way, I did a video today, vacationstogo.com. You save there. You might get a cabin credit through your travel agent or through vacationstogo.com already. Then you get your shareholder credit on top. You bring your pop and drinks on board. You bring your wine on board for $500 in your pocket instead of someone else's pocket. Hello? That's after-tax money we're talking about, folks. Even though the taxes have been cut, you still have to pay taxes on your income. You might as well save, $500 between 2 people. That adds up. That's a lot of cash. So that's what we do here. So we love doing that. This is an open Q&A. You can ask me anything you want about cruise ships, anything about taking a holiday. This is an open forum here. If you're signing in, do me a favor. Tell me, where are you watching me from? And what was your high temperature today? Kill me. Just make me cry, because my Floridians have been killing me all day. They've been telling me it's been in the 80s down there, and I'm dying up here in the 30s. But what are you going to do? I'm in Creston. I can't help it. Anyway, that's the story. The channel is going great. I thank everybody who's been watching, people who are coming on here. 2 months ago, we had barely 400 subscribers, if that. I think 2 months ago, as a matter of fact, this is March 1. January 1, I had 180 subscribers. Today, 1,200. Like, whoa, this channel is cooking. For me, this is unbelievable. The views are going up. The analytics are all pointing in the right direction. You folks seem to like these live streams and my other videos, and I'm so grateful. Welcome feedback, of course. If I can do anything better, I will. This is amateur hour, though. Look at the lighting. It's home lighting. It's in my living room, but that's what you get. But look what you're paying for it. It's so cheap. Now, talking about income. YouTube, the world of YouTube, at least 1 million channels, in my humble opinion, and my humble guess, at least 1 million channels have been cut off from monetization as of February the 20th because of the new rules that YouTube put in place for parameters to be able to be monetizable. I was a monetized channel from last October until February the 20th. And then I've been demonetized for now. I'm in review. Don't know what that quite means for sure. I kind of know what it means, but I don't really have the official, in my case, what it means. But channels like mine, we're all in review. I have over 1,000 subscribers, which I need to be monetizable now. I have over 4,000 hours of watch time to be monetizable now. I have that. Both of those factors. I had them on the 19th of February, but on the 20th, that's when the final cutoff date was for anyone who didn't have it. And those of us who earned those 2 levels or reached those 2 levels of the monetization rules, we had until February 20th to get there. I got there, and so now I'm not monetized, but I'm in review to be monetized. And there's a ton of us just waiting with bated breath to get remonetized. So I have no income coming in for this channel. I put in 12 hours at least a day. I got up today at 4:30, and I've been going ever since. And my day will be done tonight around 10, 11 o'clock, and then go to bed, and I'll be up tomorrow at 4 or 5 in the morning, and I'll be back at it again. So there's only 2 forms of income, or 2 sources of funding that I have. I have one on this channel that is still alive, and that's called Super Chat. If you're typing in and saying hi to me, you'll probably notice there's a little $sign down at the bottom of your phones or on your laptops or your tablets. You can actually send me a donation through Super Chat. $1, $2, $5, whatever amount you want. There's a scale there. You can slide it anywhere you want. You're also welcome to ask me any question if you want, along with the question. Of course, if this site was so busy that screen was going like crazy and you couldn't get a message in, you could always send me a Super Chat with a question, and it would hang on the phone for a while would hang there, and then I would get my attention. But in the meantime, this is an out-and-out donation on your part to help me survive, and I welcome any and all super chats, and I thank you so much. And all of those of you who have already been doing this, thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. The second form of a donation you can make to my cause is I happen to have a Patreon site. I created it back in October, maybe September, and I really haven't done much with it because it requires a bit of work. And a Patreon site really is effective if you have quite a number of subscribers. And I thought, well, I'll make my Patreon site, get it up and running, and then I'll, pay more attention to it later. Well, in the last week, I've had 2 viewers on their own just go to my Patreon site because there's a link on my page, and they went right over there and they just they put a donation on there. I have one for $10, and I got one today for $3, and I say thank you very much. I'm only asking for $3 a month on my Patreon site, but you can always send me more, of course. But $3 is all I ask. I don't have any gimmicky stuff where I'll give you this if you give me that. I'll give you this if you give me that. It's just a shout out on my channel for anyone who's helping me out, and that's what I'm doing. And so today I got one totally unknown, totally unsuspected, and it just popped up in there. And I have to thank whoever did that and say thank you very much. Patrick Rakoff just sent me $5.60 because he's telling me it's 56 degrees in Atlanta. Late show. there's the bar right there. And he just sent me $5.60. Thank you so much through the super chat. This is just a wonderful system that YouTube has. It just allows you to, send the poor creator a couple of bucks, and I can get myself a latte at Starbucks. Thank you very much. Not that I have been to a Starbucks. As a matter of fact, we don't have a Starbucks here in this town. We have some privately run cafes, but I have no time to leave the house and go get one. Maybe on Sunday on my day off. Maybe that's what I'll do. But thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it, Patrick. That's really great. Thank you very, very much. Any and all donations are gratefully, humbly accepted. I just want to say, oh, hi, Bill. Looks like Bill Ligon just subscribed. I just noticing on my emails here. I happen to be looking now for the gentleman who sent me this pledge, Scott Durward. Scott Durward sent me a $3 pledge on my Patreon site, and thank you, Scott, for that. I now have $13 a month coming in. All right, every penny counts. It all helps. I don't care where it comes from. I'm happy it's coming in, and I am grateful, and I thank you all from the bottom of my pocketbook. I thank you because it's thin. Now, who's here? If you're, like I say, if you're just joining in and you want to say hi to me, tell me where you're watching me from. What's your high temperature today? And just say hello. People will say hi back to you probably here because people here notice the same folks are coming in all the time, and they start talking to each other on this chat. It's great. Pamela Jordan's here. I'm back, she says. Patrick is here. All right, late show. Thanks, Patrick, for both being here and the donation. Charles Jordan, so am I. Heather Young, hi. George McCrower is here. Late show, but not cooled down enough to not cooled down enough for snow in the villages. Not in Florida. You're not getting snow in the villages, George. That's why you're there. You're not fooling anybody. Who else is here? George McCrower. Yeah, T.O. Matt Wilson. Hi, Bruce. It's 5 degrees here in Powell River. Oh, man. 5. Yeah. Matt Wilson. Hey, Bruce. What is there to do on Emerald Princess, and is it a good ship? Well, Princess Cruise Line has a great reputation. I'm going to say it's like a 4.5-star kind of line, owned by Carnival, like Holland America and Cunard and P&O Cruises and Costa Cruises and Ada Cruises and Carnival's own line, of course. They also run Seymour. Princess has a great reputation. They'll have all the amenities that large cruise ships will have. So, of course, you'll have your pool area. You'll also have your workout area if you're into working out on treadmills or bicycles, or you can take Pilates classes. I'm sure they probably offer yoga classes. I believe they even have drill sergeants for rent. The workout people that'll help you get into shape and keep those tiramisus off your hips. There should be a bistro, coffee bistro on board. You'll be able to get your latte or cappuccino or Americano or whatever your favorite drink is if you're into that. You'll also find at that bistro bar, you'll also find a dessert bar. And usually, up until last time I cruised Princess last year, the dessert bar was free. You could just point and say, "Can I have that little apple thing there? Can I have that little tiramisu over there, or whatever you want, and they change them up all the time. They'll have a gelato station at that spot there, but you'll have to pay for the gelato, but apparently it's quite good. I'm not sure if this particular ship does or does not have one of the favorite things that I encountered on a Princess cruise. They had installed a pizzeria restaurant on board, and it was no extra charge. It was included in your fare. And this is where they would produce a pizza. They had about 6 different versions of pizza available. Again, this is a couple years ago, they were making it fresh. The dough would be tossed. I mean, the guy's making it from scratch and rolling it out, and then the toppings would come on, the ones that you wanted. They'll even combo topping. I had a pizza with like little of this and this instead of just the one version only. They didn't care, and it goes into a special oven that has sort of a stainless steel door in the front of it. The door is only about 1 foot high, but it's about 4.5 feet wide, and it's hot in there. It's at the deep narrow oven. It's a perfect pizza oven, and he's got that handle with the plate, the wooden spatula on there, and he's putting the pizza in, and then a few minutes later he's pulling it out, and it's brought to your table fresh and hot and delicious. If they've got that on board this ship, you want to take advantage of it. This was so good that my wife and I had dinner twice, I think, maybe 3 times. Out of 7 nights, we had dinner there for the pizza. That's how good it was. It was like a thin crust Italian style, very nice, with the olive oil and the garlic, and oh man, my wife loved it. I loved it. It was fantastic. I don't know if they do it on all the ships, but check it out on this one. S. Swan is here. Hi, Bruce. Back from the 5 p.m. Show. Greensboro, North Carolina. It's now 53 degrees at 8 p.m. Welcome, S. Swan. Pamela Jordan. Hi, Sylvia. Wes Morrison, 60 degrees here in New Braunfels, Texas. How are you, Wes? It's good to have you back, pal. Marlenia. How do I say that last name? Aaron Zeller. How about that? Marlania Aaron Zeller. Hi from Aurora, Colorado. 60 degrees here for the high. You've got to be new because I've never mispronounced this name before. Welcome to my 8 o'clock primetime show. This is great. You're on my live stream. Fantastic. Great to have you here. If you have any questions about cruising or whatever, fire away. Otherwise, just watch and learn and listen and hopefully enjoy. This is fantastic. Who have we got here? Debbie Emanuel. Hi, Bruce, and everyone. How are you doing, Debbie? You're back. And the Steaming Bean is here. I was on a pizza diet. It didn't work. Of course it worked. Look at you now. You're exactly what you're supposed to be. On a pizza diet, this is what you get. Unless you thought it was something else. Oh. I think the only pizza diet that works is if you have half a slice a day. And that's it. If you're like me, man, I love pizza. I eat too much and I love it. I just can't get enough of that stuff. Oh my gosh. It's so good. -10 Celsius, he's saying, Steaming Bean, so balmy. That's 18 degrees colder than 32. So that's, what is that? 14 degrees Fahrenheit. Yikes. Yes, it's winter. Matt Wilson is here. Thank you. Because going on my 4 Princess cruise to Hawaii out of Vancouver, been on Golden Princess, Sapphire Princess, and Star Princess. All of them were Hawaii. Fantastic. I was on the Ruby Princess last year on a cruise from Los Angeles to Mexico, the Mexican Riviera and back. And I've been on another Princess cruise for the same itinerary a few years prior to that. I can't remember the name of the ship. It might have been the Sapphire, and maybe the Sapphire had the pizza bar, had the pizza on it. Scott Batchley. Hi, Bruce. I'm back. Still not raining in Ventura. You need rain, and you need it now. That whole area down there needs rain. We got to get you rain. Crossing our fingers and hoping for the best. Let's hope that this works out. By the way, any of you folks can give me thumbs ups on this video. That would be great. There's a little thumbs up sign down below your picture here somewhere. That would be wonderful. We're trying to get as many thumbs ups as we can. Today's question, one of the questions I have for you is, where in the world would you like to go on a cruise ship? You can go anywhere. You can go anywhere on the planet. You won a little lottery money, or you got lucky in Vegas, or Auntie M left you something in the will that you weren't expecting. If you could go on a cruise and go to any destination, where would you like to go on a cruise ship? Would it be the Galapagos Islands or the Antarctica or to see the penguins? Or would you want to see, say, Cape Town, South Africa for a day or two? Or would it be, oh, I don't know, Sydney, Australia? Let me know. Let me know your thoughts on where would you go on a cruise if you could go anywhere in the world. You had the time, you had the money, and you could go. That'd be an interesting thought. Let's see, what else have I got here? S. Swanis, you're saying, hi, Pamela. I can't type worth a crap on this phone. Laugh out loud. Christine is saying, hey, Bruce, sorry, too lazy to get up off the couch to see what is doing outside. Quite all right. It's evening time, prime time to relax, time to enjoy the show. Matt Wilson, yes, the Sapphire Princess does have the pizza, Alfredo pizza. It is delicious, isn't it? It's fantastic. That's one of the great things they did. And when I was on that cruise ship, no charge. It was part of the fare. I thought it was great. Didn't do the buffet for a couple of nights because we went to that. Didn't do the main dining room because we did that. We loved it. Scott Batchy, I would like to go all over Europe. Yeah, I can see that. Doing an extended Mediterranean cruise where you can take in, from Portugal to Rock of Gibraltar, Spain, Monaco, France, of course, and several ports there, Italy, Genoa, and then, of course, stop off where you can get into Florence and Pisa, and then to Rome, of course, further south to Naples, over to Palermo, Sicily, do Palermo. I'd love to go around the island. Love to do a couple stops. I'd love to have like 2 days, 3 days, just around Sicily. That would be great. Seeing Mount Etna and hopefully from a distance. When Etna's sleeping. And then doing the boot of Italy, and then coming up the other side and coming up to Venice. Not to disturb Venice, but just to kind of see it from a distance and take a small tender in, perhaps. I don't want to muck up the canals and stuff with these. A lot of cruise ships are going to be held back, I think. And then over to Slovenia and over to Croatia, Kosovo, Serbia, the whole region, all that goes to Greece, perhaps Istanbul and Turkey, and then perhaps a little further south, Beirut, perhaps, if it's safe, and Israel a little bit, and then over to Cairo, and perhaps to Malta. Love to see Malta, and then over to, it might be a little too unstable in Libya and Tunisia right now, but head over to Morocco or Algiers, and then head up the coast up to Northern Europe and take in Amsterdam and take in say Copenhagen and Stockholm, Helsinki, Oslo. Oh my goodness! And then around the other side of Norway, some of those incredible fjords. I like to see those. And then St. Petersburg in Russia. Then around Ireland and the UK. Man, you can't do it all on one cruise. You just can't. But wow, wouldn't that be something? Love to find out where you'd like to go, folks. Where would you like to go if you could go anywhere on a cruise? Samantha Farmer, she wants to go full time. She wants to live on a cruise ship, and that's the end of it. Get me on a cruise ship, put me in a suite, give me a butler, and yeah, baby, life is good. And maybe spend 3-4 days here, maybe a week there, and just lazily circle the globe. What the heck is wrong with that? Nothing wrong with that. S. Swan saying, I would love to go on a river cruise, but too expensive. Sylvia saying, yeah, again, if you come into some cash, maybe it can be done. I've been watching with great interest these river cruises over the years, and I've been asking myself, when will it come? When will it come to the point where there's so many of these cruise lines and so many of these ships that there'll be a price war? It's just not happening. It's not happening. Now, I am seeing more and more offers about book a cruise with us for 14 days on the Danube or the Rhine River, and we'll throw in an airfare credit. Say we'll throw in a $500 airfare credit, or we'll upgrade you from economy to business class, or it's all inclusive anyway. The ship is already all inclusive. The problem, unfortunately, for pricing on river cruises in Europe in particular is that the European riverboat operators, the cruise lines, they cannot hire cheap labor from third world countries to work the ships. You're in waters that are in Germany, France, Switzerland, Austria, Italy, Belgium, and you've got labor laws, you've got labor rates, you've got European standards for pay, and that means medical, that means holiday pay. And so if you're a worker and you have a job on a riverboat cruise ship, it's probably a pretty good paying gig. It's a career. I mean, you can do this job for 10 years and make a living. Whereas if you're the passenger, you're paying the top dollar. Comparing to, say, a Norwegian cruise or a Costa cruise in the Mediterranean, where you're just out of the river system, you're in the Mediterranean Sea, and you're in the Atlantic, you're into international waters, you can hire whatever staff you want and pay them whatever you want to pay them, whatever you can get staff for, and if you can train them up, you're good to go. And that's how we can afford these cruises on these large cruise ships. You have this economies of scale, the size of the vessel with the thousands of passengers to pay these costs. And two, you've got the advantage of these workers who are working for far less money than we would be paid in North America, for example, or in Europe to do the same job. And so are we taking advantage of these people? Yes and no, because if the cruise ships didn't exist, these folks wouldn't even have jobs of this caliber. And if you're from the Philippines or from Indonesia or from India, and you're getting a job on a cruise ship that's paying you, say, with tips, $800 a month with room and board, that $800 a month, you're making 4 times as much money as your pals back home. You're rich compared to them, and you're well fed, and you've got internet to talk to your friends at home with, and you've got a flight home at the end of your contract and a flight back when your next contract starts. That's why these folks don't quit. They work 15, 20, 30 years with the same cruise line. They never give up the job. They can't get any better. Nowhere near as good. So just the way it is. But for us, we save what it would cost us compared to a river cruise. So instead of paying $400 or $500 or $600 a night per person on a cruise ship, we're paying $150, $200, $250, $300, and of course more if you want to go on a higher cruise line, obviously. But we're getting bargains compared to what we'd have to pay if we really had to pay the market rate from where we're from, North America. Let's see here, Scott Batchley, no option for a second thumbs up. No, you can only do it one time. I'd be giving myself 15 of them. I mean, come on. Christine is saying, I just want to go somewhere warm and tropical and not have to cook or clean. Well, that, Christine, it can easily be arranged on a whole bunch of cruise lines for you. You're easy to please. Now you just have to pick the itinerary. Depending on what time of year you want to go, if you want something warm in the winter and you're in North America, you're looking Caribbean or Mexican Riviera cruise. And Caribbean, the competition is pretty good. There's a lot of good deals down here. Matt Wilson saying, I want to go on the Norwegian Cruise Line new ship, Norwegian Bliss. What do you know about the Norwegian Bliss? Well, the Bliss is coming out shortly. I think it's within a month or two away. It's very close. And the Bliss is destined to sail from Europe to, I believe, New York for a visit, if I'm not mistaken. I might be wrong on that. And then it's going to end up in Miami and then go through the Panama Canal, and it's actually headed to Seattle because its first order of business is to ply the waters of Alaska. It's going to do Alaska for the summer. And the Bliss, large ship, close to 5,000 passengers, if I'm right, 4,500, something like that. It has a number of features on it that have kind of caught the eye of the writers, the ship aficionados who make a living writing about cruise ships. They're talking about the double-decker, the 2-story high, 1,000-foot long go-kart track on the top of the ship at the very back. They're using electrical powered go-karts that you can go around this track on, and they have single-seater and double-seater carts. So if mom and dad are going on the go-kart and the youngster is 4 or 5 years old, they're too small to ride it themselves, they can sit in the passenger seat. Mom and dad's driving. I think they even have a steering wheel for the second passenger to kind of, hang around. And so it's great for families and individuals. And that is the big to-do feature about the Bliss. I think they're also putting on board a laser tag in the evenings. They've installed a laser tag system as well. And then all the other toys that the Norwegian ships are becoming famous for, extended water slide rides, quite elaborate. I think they're putting in a rope skill testing rope course of some kind for all age groups. Just a myriad of activities on this ship. It's it's proving to become, it's been proved to be popular already. Hasn't sailed yet, but it's caught the imagination of a lot of people, and a lot of travel agents are booking up that ship quickly for the Alaska run. I do know that after they finish in the late summer, early fall with Alaska, they're going to reposition the ship over to New York. So they're going to go again through the Panama Canal. There'll be a repositioning cruise, by the way. They'll go through that all the way up to New York, and the ship will be based in New York for, I believe, late October, November, December for the Caribbean, from New York south. And then I think in January, they're going to shift the ship down to Miami. And I believe Miami will be its home port, if I'm not mistaken. And it will then be available for Caribbean cruises the winter of 2019, a year from now. It'll be in the Caribbean. So that's what I know about the Bliss as far as its future is concerned. Some of its amenities, it'll have all the latest bells and whistles. Every time Norwegian brings out a new ship, they bring out all kinds of new features. This one will be no different than the others, and should prove to be popular. The hope we're having out here is that the ship will not have any issues like the MSC Seaside has been having issues on its first 2 months at sea, 3 months at sea. The MSC Seaside is having nothing but problems again and again and again, and all kinds of people are canceling cruises on the seaside to go onto other cruise lines until the MSC Seaside gets itself straightened out. That's what I'm hearing about that too. Kelly Stoyanovich is here. Hey, Bruce, it's very cold and windy with snow on its way. Love your live chats. Thank you, Kelly. I got your message earlier that you kind of caught my rerun at the 5 o'clock show. Glad you're here for the 8 o'clock prime time show. S. Swan is saying amen to that. Christine Sylvia. Belinda, New Zealand is amazing, Bruce. Oh, I'm sure it is. There are parts of New Zealand that remind me of Norway. With the fjords and that kind of thing. I've not been there. I'd like to come. Sometime. We'd go there someday. Beautiful place. Member of the Commonwealth, like Australia. Both would be beautiful places to sail through with a cruise ship, I'm sure. Christine is saying, "Yep." S. Swan is agreeing here. Wes Morrison. While in the Navy, I have been to every continent except for Antarctica and South America. Would like to take a cruise so I could mark them off my list. Well, there you go. Yes, sir. If you get the chance. Excuse me. Nowadays, today and in the next few years going forward, there are a number of ships coming out that are going to be kind of luxury cruisers and icebreakers kind of in combination. These are going to have seriously reinforced hulls that will be designed to break through 5-10 feet of ice. And they're going to be offering cruises to the Arctic and to the Antarctic. And some of these ships are large enough that have on board 2-person, 4-person, 6-person submarines to go below the surface. And they'll also have helicopters on board as well for aerial tours. So these are high-end cruise lines that are offering high-end adventures at top dollar. With all the Zodiacs that they're going to have on board. Some of them have 15 to 20 Zodiacs with power engines in the back to take you right to the shore, right to the ice floes, and they'll know where the penguins are breeding. They'll take you towards that area so you can watch from a distance and see them in their natural habitat. Some of these cruises will be probably quite spectacular, pricey, but entertaining to say the least. And there's a market for it. There's a huge market for it, and that will be interesting. Shibs is here. Barry Shibs is here. How you doing, Barry? Hi, Bruce. Calgary snowfall warning tonight. -15 is the question mark. I need a blues cruise. Yes, sir. There are theme cruises available out there. Blues cruises, country music cruises, Ted Nugent cruises, Star Trek cruises, poetry cruises, book cruises, you name it. And there'll be more coming. I sense that over the next few years, we're going to hear about dozens and dozens of different kinds of unique 1 week or 5-day or 8-day cruises, 10-day cruises, where you can get on a themed cruise that you'd never thought existed. It is another area of cruising that is evolving as we speak. It's quite amazing. Samantha Farmer saying, do you own the 100 shares to get the 100 credit? Well, if you own 100 shares of the cruise line, either Norwegian, Royal Caribbean, or Carnival, if you have the shares in your brokerage account, the cruise company needs to know that you're an actual shareholder of the stock. All you need to do through your travel agent or through the website itself with the cruise company is to take a photo with your phone of your brokerage statement with the current date on it, and show them either what do we call that, a screenshot. That's the word I'm looking for. You take a screenshot of your brokerage account with your 100 shares in the account, showing that you have the balance of the shares, 100 shares or more, and that qualifies you for this shareholder discount. And that is available, like I said, it doesn't matter how many cruises a year you take, and it doesn't matter which cruise line you're on. Carnival has 10 cruise lines. Royal Caribbean owns Celebrity. Royal Caribbean owns Bruce forgot already. Oh no, owns another one. Norwegian owns Regent. So if you take a cruise on Regent or Norwegian, or with Carnival, you take a cruise on Holland America or Princess or Cunard or Carnival itself, you get the discount on any of those cruises. Now, if you take a cruise in January, you take another cruise in April, you take a cruise in October with the same company, let's say Carnival, and it's the three of the different lines of the same one 3 times, same ship 3 times, doesn't matter. You get a credit of $100 on every 7-day cruise, and you can get a credit of up to $250 if it's a 15-day cruise. So these really can pay you. I mean, 3 cruises at $100 a cruise is $300 in onshore credit, on cabin credit, I should say, cabin credit, and use it any way you want, and not a bad deal for just holding the shares. And if you're going to hold them for years anyway as an investment, because these companies are growing and are profitable, the shares could go up in value while you hold them in the meantime. So what's wrong with that? Put them in your IRA, put them in there, forget about them. Yep, and enjoy your cruising. If you can afford all 3, get 100 shares of all 3, great. I'll tell you this, okay? Let's say you're on a Norwegian cruise a month from now. You can buy 100 shares of Norwegian, you get your credit, go on your cruise, enjoy, everything's great. Then you're scheming and you're thinking, oh, I'm going to go on a cruise on Holland America 3 months from now. Sell your shares in Norwegian, buy 100 shares of Carnival, whatever the difference is, make it up, or if it's cheaper, it's cheaper. And now book your Carnival cruise on Holland America, book that cruise, get your credit there. And then you're thinking, oh yeah, I've always wanted to go on the Harmony of the Seas on Royal Caribbean. Sell your shares in Carnival and buy 100 shares of Royal Caribbean a month before your cruise or so that you have them in your account when it's time to claim the credit 15 days or earlier before your cruise, and you're good to go. So you don't have to own all 3 companies' stock. You only need to own one of them, and then just sell and buy and sell and buy. If that's the way you want to do it, it's certainly more affordable, obviously, because 100 shares of each company can add up to a bunch of dough. Just brokerage advice from a guy who used to be a stockbroker. Just, no extra charge, although I could use a super chat. Just saying. Okay, who's here? Pamela Jordan, come on. Let's hit that thumbs up. We need more activity, she's saying. Thanks, Pamela. Scott Batchley, talk to my TA today, travel agent today. He said the go-karts were complimentary on the Bliss Beyond in September. Isn't that great? That's fantastic. You don't have to pay extra for that. Wonderful. I heard something about the MSC side that also really irked me. Maybe I'm out of line, but they have a zip line. They claim they have the longest zip line at sea on the MSC Seaside, the brand new ship that's going out of Miami in the Caribbean. They're charging $10 a ride on the zip line. $10. And what they're doing is during the day they have staff up there, just people who are in the dance troupe and who work for the company, and they're getting these rides to entice you to take one. And then you get up there and it's $10 to your room. It's ridiculous. It should be complimentary, at least for the first year or so. Unless there's a lineup of 50 people. If you got a lineup, okay. But if you're sending staff up there to do it, to kind of, show it off, well, then maybe it's not working too well. I don't know. I know MSC Seaside's having all kinds of issues. What you going to do? Christine was saying, I was just going to ask that, Scott, if all those bells and whistles cost extra. So now we know about the go-karts. Debbie Emanuel is saying, scheduled to take Bliss to Alaska in 120 days. Ship will also take a few trips to Mexico before repositioning cruise through Panama. There we go. That's what's coming. Thank you for that, Debbie. Matt, sorry, Paula, thank you. No, who said that? Sorry. Debbie Emanuel. Thank you, Debbie. Matt Wilson, will the Norwegian Bliss when be in Alaska every summer? Oh, I don't know, Matt. I'm not sure how far out you can look, but if you check out my video today on the Vacations to Go video I dropped in today, that I put on today, shows you how to use the site, and then you can look up the Bliss and see all the cruises the Bliss has, and you can look forward probably for the next year and a half or so, maybe 2 years, and it might show us next year's schedule already. Paula K is saying, hi, Bruce, 50 and rain. Yuck. Like Hanover, about 5 to 10 degree difference in Irwin, Pennsylvania. Visiting family in hometown and hearing a possible critter in the house attic of my sons. Oh, no. The cooler it gets outside, the more critters that want to move inside. Sorry about that. Oh, no. I get some cheese in the mousetrap and then send the hubby to go get them. Matt Wilson, one last question. Am I about to take my vape and vape juice on a cruise? Oh, are you allowed to take vape and vape juice on a cruise? Check with the cruise line for smoking policy. Some ships do have a dedicated smoking area where you can smoke. Sometimes it's usually it's an inside room of some kind. I don't know if they're eliminating that or not, but I would look into that through the cruise line. That's how I would do it. They probably have a frequently asked question bar and their pipeline area where you can just ask a question and you'll get an answer back. I'll check into that. But that should be allowed in a smoking area, I would think. Paula K, any new updates on islands? St. Thomas, restoration and rebuilding. A lot of damage when we were there in November of 2017. Paula K, I'm waiting for one of my cruisers to come back from her holiday. She left, and I think she's there now, down in the Caribbean, and I think St. Thomas and I think San Martin were both on her itinerary. And I'm kind of curious. She promised that she would tell me when she returned what the state of it was. I did hear, however, last week from someone who had been there or who talked to someone who had been there only about a week or two ago, and that the area around the front of the beach, like where the beach area is St. Thomas in particular. No, not St. Thomas. Saint Martin in particular. The front of where the beach front is, all looks normal, looks fine, rebuilt. Go one block back, disaster, just total devastation. Structures still down, dilapidated, destroyed, or houses that were there have been ripped, have been taken away by bulldozer in pieces, and there's just an empty lot there now. So we're hearing quite a bit of that. So kind of expecting to hear the same thing, but I have to wait for further confirmation when some of my people come back. Samantha Farmer saying, if you have onboard credit and you don't use it at the end, does it stay on your account for the next cruise? I don't think so, Samantha. I think it's one of those you use it or you lose it. But if you get a credit on board, you can use it towards, I believe, tipping. I believe you can certainly use it for specialty restaurants. You can use it in the retail stores. So, if you still have $35 left on the account, head downstairs to where the retail stores are and buy a couple souvenirs, maybe a fridge magnet, sport cup, T-shirt, hat, whatever you want. Hit the duty-free liquor and pick up a bottle of the good stuff, not for yourself, maybe a gift for somebody. Use it up is what I would recommend. Another thing I'll mention, Samantha, I don't know if you can do this. It depends on the cruise line. But if you go into the casino, you can in some cases, you can use your room card in the slot machine. And you can put, say, $50 on your slot machine. It's a $50 charge against your room. Now, if you've got a room credit, it might be allowable for that to be applied to it. And you play one hand on the slot machine, then you cash out, and you get the ticket for, say, $49.50, something like that. You didn't win, I'm assuming. Hopefully you did. You take the $49.50 over to the cashier in the casino and you hand them that and you get $49.50 in cash. That might be a way to get a room credit turned into cash if you have one, but I can't guarantee that you can do that. I'm not, but I'm speculating. I'm scheming for you. Who knows? PJ Drayton is saying 37 in Omaha, dreaming of cruising. PJ saying men dreaming of a cruise. I got you there, PJ. Anna EP saying 80 and breezy in Honolulu. Welcome back to my late show, Anna. Nice to have you. Samantha Farmer saying even going back to back. You know, I can't tell you. You might, but I would have to. You know what I recommend you do is either whoever you book the cruise through, your travel agent, I check with them, or check with the guest services desk on the cruise itself. You know, right in the middle of your cruise, ask them if you're doing a back-to-back cruise, what happens with any credit? Will you transfer it to my new account or not? And they'll tell you what the deal is. That's probably gonna have to check. That's a darn good question, Matt. I've never had that happen. Never had that one before. I really appreciate that question. Paula K. Megan's Bay excursion, many replanting of palms, but beach still needed some tender loving care, she's saying. Water was absolutely beautiful, rated best beach in Travel Magazine. Got to take a swim there. So there you go, Megan's Bay. Now, is Megan's Bay in San Martin or St. Thomas? Could you let us know that? I'm speculating. I have an idea, but I'm not going to say. Maybe you can let me know. I got another question for you guys tonight, and I want to know if you want to give me an answer on this one. The question I have here is the worst hotel you've ever stayed in, ever. What's the worst hotel you've ever stayed in, whether it's a one-nighter, a motel somewhere on the road? What made the worst motel you've ever stayed in? I have a story that I'm going to talk. I'm going first. I'll tell you my story in just a sec. I'm just going to take a look here what's coming in. Steaming Bean was saying, was talking to Norwegian Cruise Line, was told prices are typically 20% higher. Yeah, they're bumping the rates here and there. Samantha Farmer saying the casino is good for no ATM fees also. Thank you, Samantha. Good point there. Matt Wilson, thank you for all the info. Of course, it's what I do. Scott Batchley, B2B still considered as separate cruise, use it or lose it. B2B still considered as separate cruise, back to back, considered as separate cruise is what you're saying. Use it or lose it. Interesting, Scott. Steaming Bean, no recession and more people cruising. Yes, you're right. It's growing. Paula K saying that was St. Thomas. Okay, thanks, Paula K. That was St. Thomas she was talking about. And interesting, very interesting. And it's kind of what I suspected. All right, the worst hotel I ever stayed in. You don't forget them. You just don't forget them. I got two. Now, one was with my wife and I. The mystery woman that you folks are wondering about. She looks like Jennifer Aniston. I was telling her this the other day. I said, you know, some of the people are asking me, they want to know what you look like. And I said to her, I thought I would show a picture of Jennifer Aniston, you know, because that's an accurate representation. She thought that was a good idea. She thought that was pretty good. So, you know, think of Jennifer Aniston. That's kind of what my wife looks like. But, you know, anyway, so she and I were on a little trip, and we were in Toronto, Ontario. And it so happened that we were in Toronto. We needed a hotel for the night, and we were going to fly back to Calgary, Alberta, in Canada the next morning. So we needed a hotel for just a one-evening deal, and we ended up downtown Toronto near Maple Leaf Gardens, where the Toronto Maple Leafs used to play their hockey games. They don't play there anymore. And we were in a hotel right next door, I believe, called the Carlton Inn. And the Carlton Inn is where the hockey players would stay at when they came into town. The visiting team would stay there because they could just walk right into Maple Leaf Gardens next door when it was game time. It was right on Carlton Street, ironically. The Carlton Inn is named after the street it's sitting on. Amazing. Anyway, we walked in there, and I went to the front desk and didn't have a reservation. And it was a hot July day. And it was 90 plus degrees out, hot and sticky, awful. And they said to us, we said, do you have any rooms available for the evening? And do you have a reservation? No, we don't. And so they're looking, so well, we're kind of full. Let us see. We got one room left. It's on the third floor. And it's like $90 a night, whatever the rate was. It wasn't the money I was worried about. So I said, oh, we'll take it. It's a night. They didn't tell us one little tiny little detail. They didn't say this little thing. No air conditioning. And we're on the third floor, and we were just above the roof of the lobby area and the restaurant and convention room area. And what we got to look out over was a asphalt type covered roof with all these air conditioning systems everywhere, spewing out the hot air from the lobby that they were sucking the hot air out of and keeping cool. Our room had no air conditioner. It wasn't working. And we were in this room for one night, the only room we could get, 90 degrees with 100% humidity. And we had two queen beds, thankfully, one for her, one for me, because we couldn't even touch each other. It was we would have to peel each other off. It was so sticky and hot. And we were lying there with one sheet, just a sheet over us, and that was too hot. But you use the sheet because when you lay on your side and you have you want to put one leg on top of the other leg, you put the sheet in between, because if your legs touch each other, you start to sweat, and so you put the sheet between the legs to stop that. Oh, it was hell on earth. I took 2 very cool showers that evening. I wasn't getting anything anyway. Don't worry about it, folks. I wasn't missing that. I took 2 cold showers to cool off, to try to stop the sweating. That was just, the body was just emitting moisture. The morning couldn't come soon enough. We were out of that room at 7 in the morning. We were packed at 6:30. The flight wasn't until like noon. We didn't care. We're going to take a cab and hang out at the airport, which is air conditioned at least. And we'll eat breakfast in an air-conditioned restaurant. I don't care what the price is. That was the worst for my wife and I. She mentioned that to me. She said, "Oh, the Carlton Inn." She said, "Remember that one?" And I said, "Oh, yeah." But the worst hotel, the worst of the worst hotels that I ever stayed in, was with a friend of mine who was a business partner of mine, buddy of mine, and he and I were in the San Diego area. And we had flown into California from Canada, and we had landed in Ontario International Airport, grabbed a rental car, and we were driving through Southern California. We were running a little business at that time, and we needed to, we were looking to do business deals with some golf courses. So we were in the San Diego area to find out if we could find a couple of candidates for our little publishing business. And we were looking for a couple of contenders, and this would be 1980, 86, 87, something like that. And what had happened was we sort of got sidetracked with our scheduling, and we had left this one evening open with respect to where are we sleeping tonight. And we were in the San Diego area, and we thought, we'll have no trouble finding a hotel in San Diego. I mean, it's 5 million people, metropolitan area. We got a car. I'm sure we'll find a place to sleep. So we were doing a lot of driving around, and we realized that by about 3:30 in the afternoon, oh my goodness, it's 3:30. It's wintertime, because why else would you be in California if you're from Canada? Why would you go in the summer? And we go to winter. So we're down there in the wintertime, and it's 3:30, and the sun sets at like 4:45. It's still early days, short afternoons. So we thought before it gets dark, we better find a place to stay for the night. And we're driving along this roadway along the coast. And it was north of San Diego on the ocean. And we had obviously taken the wrong turn at Albuquerque, because 10 miles or 5 miles back were a ton of hotels. But we had noticed there were some nice hotels like the Hiltons and the Marriotts. And we didn't want to spend $200 a night for just literally a 16-hour stop, and then we're going to move on. So we were looking for like a mom and pop hotel, a motel, something small, quaint, charming, 60, $80 a night, something, 50, whatever it was. I'm using today's dollars. I think in those days we would have been talking 30, 40, $50. Anyway, in the Hilton at that time, it was still been close to $200 with the taxes and whatnot. We're driving along, can't find anything. It's getting darker and darker. Finally, we see a motel sign. Oh, and we pull up to it. It's got kind of a Western motif, like a cowboy and Indians kind of motif to it, but we thought nothing of it. We come into the front lobby, and it's got a vacancy sign going. It's got vacancy. So we come up and talk to the young guy working there. We need a room for the night, just one room with 2 beds. Yeah, no problem. Take room number 17. It was like $40 or $38. So we thought price is right. It's 9 o'clock tonight. We'll be out of here at 8 in the morning. Not even 12 hours. So we go into the room. Oh my God. It's the 1960s. Yeah, it's the 1960s. And here it is, 1987. And oh my God, everything is 20 years old. And we're looking at the beds, the two queen beds or whatever they were. And you can see, they were made up, but they had that unmistakable bend in them. Both of them. Oh my God. And we go into the bathroom, and oh no, the bathrooms are just terrible. The faucet is leaking, and there's rust on the faucets, and the toilet's in rough shape. I mean, it's rough. I look in the shower stall, and I go, no, no, no. There's mold in the shower stall. Mold in the corners, big time. I mean, big time. We have nowhere else to go. We have nowhere else to stay. So we decided, okay, here's what we'll do. We got to have supper now. We got to eat. So we'll go out for dinner. And we got back to that room at about midnight. We figured the routine would be we'd be out of there by 6 a.m. We're going to spend 6 hours in this place. So we got in there, and to get into bed, I wore a sweatshirt, right, long sleeve sweatshirt, t-shirt, sweatshirt, and then a workout like gym pants and socks. And the only skin that was touching that bed were my hands and my head on the pillow. That was it. And the same with my buddy. He did the same thing in his bed. And we did not sleep well. Got up the next morning at 5 a.m. That was an easy get up. And we each took a quick shower. And I mean 60 seconds at most. We stood, each of us individually, of course, separately, one at a time, took a shower by standing right in the middle of the stall and not touching any of the walls around us, and getting the water, some shampoo and soap, and getting all cleaned up, and whatever bed bugs we had, if we had any, we'd try to wash them. We didn't have any. Thankfully, we didn't have any. No side effects, by the way. But they had 2 by 2 foot towels, 2 of those, one for him, one for me, to wipe ourselves off. It was awful. That was the worst. The carpeting was pillowed and wavy from all the wear and tear, and you could tell where people were walking on the carpet because it was worn down. It was gosh awful. Never forgot it. It's that one room that you go, well, I'll never forget that hotel, let me tell you. Oh man, I could imagine if we'd have brought our wives with us, we would have been driving an hour the other direction back to the Hilton, buddy. I don't care what it takes. You're taking me to the Hilton. I don't care what it costs. We're going there. Well, my goodness, we never stayed in a dump like that again. But that was my little nightmare story with regard to a hotel. And I would love to hear if you folks have any of your own that you'd love to share to us. That would be just fine. What do we got here? Kelly Stonovich is saying, we went to Ocean City, Maryland, and I had booked a hotel for me and my daughter and 2 young grandchildren for a weekend. The hotel looks nothing like the pictures online. It was a dump. Didn't even have real doors. They were like slatted closet doors. Kids didn't sleep. Super loud, bugs, dirty and disgusting. Oh no. You never forget those, Kelly. You never forget those. Oh my. Paula K, no hubby this trip. Son's not home yet. Me and my hairy kid pooch. I'm thinking a bat. Had 2 in the past years, more in country here. You're talking about what's happening upstairs in the attic. Oh no, you got bats up there. Oh gosh, no. No hubby there. Son's not home yet. Me and my hairy kid. You're on your own. You're on your own. Crash 3X is here from Ottawa, Ontario. How you doing? You're on late today. Yes, we're on Tuesdays and Thursdays, 2 shows, 5 and 8 Eastern. Tuesdays and Thursdays. Welcome to the Late Show, prime time. Kelly was telling me it was a dump. Debbie Manuel, don't forget thumbs up for video, guys. Give Bruce thumbs ups. How are we doing on the thumbs ups anyway? Where are we at? let's take a look. We got 30 thumbs ups, 1 down. Fantastic. Thank you, guys. That's great. 31 engagements. We'll take all we can get. Please give us thumbs ups. Debbie is, now we have to worry about bed bugs and bringing them home in our luggage. Yuck. Paula K, laugh out loud. Good stories all. The Steaming Bean, pity that there was no Airbnb in '86. No, not really. I mean, there were bed and breakfasts, you know, but we couldn't find one. We had driven for over an hour. We thought for sure a city of 5 million people, but by the time we found this place, we were probably 30 miles out. So, you know, we were too stubborn to turn around and cave, and we were certainly not interested in driving all the way towards the airport and finding a Holiday Inn or a Holiday Inn Express or a Motel 6 or something. We're tired. We want to get the day over with, and we thought it's just for like 8, 10, 12 hours, and then we're gone. Yeah, well, unbelievable. Oh, yeah. Steaming Bean, I just finished my T-Port cards for my grade 5 class. I just finished my T-Port cards for my grade 5 class. I don't quite, oh, you're marking. I understand. Fantastic. Okay, so another question for you guys. If you want to answer this one, you may not want to answer this one, but I thought I'd throw it in tonight. I was thinking about this. I'm going, okay, what happened in Vegas that you can talk about that happened in Vegas, as opposed to what happened in Vegas with you guys that you can't talk about what happened. What can you talk about what happened in Vegas? You got any Vegas stories for us today? We've all must have been in Vegas at least once in our lifetimes. See what's going on there. I had a story about Vegas where I was in Vegas for a night in between flights. As a matter of fact, it was a situation where my buddy and I, my business partner and I, we were in Florida, and we were in Orlando. And every year, January, they hold the National PGA Golf Show. It's the Golf and Equipment Show. And all these golf course professionals, owners, managers, they all head down to Orlando for a 1-week convention. And they have this giant convention center filled with these massive displays. And of course, the golf pros or the managers of the pro shops for all these mom and pop golf courses and golf courses for the hotel and resorts, of course, they're all there. They do their buying. They'll buy a product from the manufacturers like Titleist and Wilson and all the manufacturers. Well, my partner and I, we had a booth in the show for our little printing company because we were producing a little booklet for golf courses, and we were trying to get exposure. And we were there. This is now the 4th year in a row. And the first time you do it, it's exciting because you're in Orlando and it's 80 degrees, and my friends back home are bitching about all the snow and how cold it is, and we're having a wonderful time, and we're in a little dumpy Motel 6. We don't care, and we're going out every night to eat at the Sizzler or to Outback, or we don't care. We're happy. And the second year, it's okay. It's not so bad. The third year, it's like, oh, these weeks are long weeks. And then the 4th year, we're doing it, and we're looking at each other going, God, I can't wait for this to be over. And it just so happened that the flights that we had booked from Calgary, Alberta, down to Orlando, we had a connection. It was, I think it was Continental Airlines way back when, and maybe through Denver or through Chicago. I can't remember how we did it, but anyway, it worked out that the show ended on let's say on a Thursday, and our flights weren't out until the show ended on a Wednesday, and our flight wasn't leaving until the Friday. And so we had these 2 extra days to hang out in Orlando. And it's just my pal and I. It's not with our wives, not with the kids. We're not going to go to Disney World. It's just 2 grown-up guys. We're not going to go to that. So what are we going to, here we are, and we're stuck in this motel, and it's surrounded. We're surrounded by screaming children having the time of their lives. And we're stuck there, and I'm thinking, oh no, not 48 more hours of this. I'm thinking about this 2 days before the end of the show. And I'm scheming, and I come up with, I got a plan, I got an idea. And so I sprung it on my partner, and I said, look, if I can pull this off, would you be interested in this deal? Here's the proposal, I said. I said, we will check out of this hotel right the morning after the show. We'll finish the show, pack up everything, and we'll stay the night. And the next morning, we're out of the hotel. We're going to head to the airport, and I'm going to book us flights. I'm going to change our flights from where we are now. We're going to fly from Orlando to Las Vegas, spend the night in Vegas, and then we'll fly from Vegas back to Calgary. Would you be interested in that? We'll be home the same flight, the same time that we were going to be home anyway. But instead of hanging around here for a whole darn day, we're going to be there instead. Could you handle that? He said, well, we are representing the business and we were representing investors. So he says to me, if you can pull this off where it doesn't cost us any more than it would have anyway, you're on. So I said, well, let me see what I can do, because I figured out we were renting a car at the time. We don't have to rent a car for 2 more days. So that's gone. We dropped that. We're out of this hotel, which is like $60 a night. And I know we can get in the Holiday Inn in Las Vegas for $30 a night. So there's a saving there. We only need 1 night in Vegas. We won't need to rent a car there. I'll just have to get on the phone to the airline. So I get on the phone to the airline. In those days, it was the good old days, folks. You remember the good old days when baggage was included? You remember the good old days when you could change flights without a big hassle? Well, I picked up the telephone, phoned the airline, got an agent who was quite interested in the plan. I told the agent, I said, you got to help me. We're dying here. We're in this flea bag hotel. We got these kids all around us. We just finished the show. My buddy and I want to go to Vegas for the night. You got to get us to Vegas, man. You got to get me out of here. He took sympathy on my soul. And he said, all right, okay, let me see what I can do. And I can hear him typing. He's typing, he's working. He says, okay, I got you. I says, no charge. I've waived the fee, $25. Remember $25 change fees? No charge. Here's the deal. Get to the airport in the next hour and 30 minutes. There's a flight going to Denver and then connecting to Vegas. You'll be in Vegas in 5 hours. And then I got you on a flight from Vegas tomorrow night at 11 o'clock at night. You'll be in Calgary at midnight, which, didn't matter. And you're good to go. I said, thanks, man. You're a savior. I told my buddy, pack now. We have to be in the airport immediately. So we grabbed our suitcases. We thought we were going to leave for 4 or 5 hours. We are throwing everything in the suitcase as awful as it doesn't matter, because what we're wearing is what we're going to be wearing in Vegas. And when we get back to Calgary, we're not changing. We're guys. So we threw everything in there, ran down to the front desk, checked out early, and stopped the meter on the room, got into that rental car, drove to the rental car place, returned the car early. They credited our credit card for that, got a shuttle bus to the airport, got to the counter, and this is before 9/11. We had no problem getting on the plane with 45 minutes to go. No problem. It's the good old days. Onto the plane. And we're in the air, and I'm looking down at Orlando from 1,000, 2,000 feet as we're accelerating up into the sky, going, goodbye, Orlando. And we got to Denver, and we landed at the old Denver airport, not that new one they have now. This is the old one. And in those days, Continental had an area where they put their planes, and you were allowed to get off the plane to stretch your legs if you wanted to, because we had about a 1 hour layover. Same plane, though. No problem. We got off the plane. Get into the terminal. The heat isn't working. It's 5 degrees Fahrenheit outside, and people can see their breath inside the terminal. We went back on that plane. It was warmer in there. We sat in the plane, and all these other passengers came in with their coats on, and we're all headed to Vegas. We land in Vegas an hour and a bit later, and it's about 60 degrees. And I'm thinking, that's okay. I traded in 80 degrees Orlando with those screaming kids for 60 degrees Vegas and the sounds of the slot machines. We're on. And so we took a shuttle bus right from there to our hotel, included, and we checked into the Holiday Inn for $35 a night in those days. And we had our room with our 2 beds, and no mold. And they gave us a free buffet in those days. We had our buffet dinner. You got your free buffet breakfast. I mean, those are the good old days. And that was our little Vegas story. So I got onto a payphone to phone my wife, because this is pre-cell phone. So I phoned the wife because she doesn't know anything about this. She has no idea where I am. She thinks I'm still in Orlando. My buddy's wife thinks he's still in Orlando. He's not calling her. He hasn't got the guts to call her. I got the guts to call my wife because I'm bragging about it. She thinks this is great. So I phone her up, And I've got a bunch of these $1. Remember the $1 coins the slot machines used to use? The real metal silver dollars, but they're just, Vegas coins. I get about 15 of them. And I've got them stacked up on the counter right by the phone. And so I dial up, I phone collect. She accepts the call. And I said, how you doing? She says, oh, I'm pretty good. How are you? I said, you're never going to guess where I am. And I'm clinking the coins. She said, you're in Vegas. I said, yes, I am. She said, how did you get to Vegas? So I told her the story. She loved the story, thought it was fantastic, and she wished me well. And so I'm off the hook. But my buddy, he didn't tell his wife. He thought that she wouldn't be pleased with him. All he wanted to do is play blackjack, $2 blackjack. Remember that in Las Vegas? They don't have that anymore either. But we had a good old time, and we were there that night and all that next day. And then the next evening, we flew back to Calgary, and all worked out well. That's a Vegas story I can tell because nothing untoward happened, and it was a great time. But that was my little Vegas story that I came up with, a spur of the moment. I loved it, and I'm glad I did it, and I haven't regretted it since, and it was just fantastic. Now, have any of you folks sent me any messages, or am I just talking to myself here? Oh, yeah, we got messages. Oh, yeah, we got Let's see here. We got messages. Let's see here. Here we go. Okay. Debbie, let's see. Bed bugs. So yeah. Good stories, all Paula K is saying. Steaming Beans was saying bed bugs were a rarity in those days. Now, Steaming Beans saying king of typos. Vegas Buffet, he's saying. Paula K on my bucket list. Christine, never been there. I've lived vicariously through YouTube and the Travel Channel. Oh, Vegas. Vegas used to be, I think, much more fun than it is now. I think it's way more corporate now, far more expensive. The deals are gone. There used to be bargoons in Vegas. Bargoons. Not so much anymore. Kathy Butler's here. Worst thing I did in Vegas was lie to my then husband about how much money I won on the slots so I could keep and spend foolishly the rest. I won $1,100 and told him I lost it. I lost all 200 I had brought. He still doesn't know. Good thing he's not here. Laugh out loud. Christine, Kathy, Debbie Emanuel, love that story too. Kelly Stoyanovich is saying we went and our daughter broke both bones in her lower leg. So in a cast 3 days prior to our 17-day cross-country trip. At the hotel, she wanted to swim. We told her no, but Nanny Grandma let her. She ended up with the hair dryer for 4 hours to dry that cast out. Yeah, not so fun. Oh, man. I would think that a few days after that, the odor coming out of that cast would have been just horrific. That would have been just terrible. Paula K is liking that one. Christine swam with a cast. Oh, boy. Yikes. Yeah, kids, Kathy Butler, didn't she sink with that cast? I missed the good old days, real customer service in Las Vegas. Oh, yeah, the real good old days. Paula K, you bet. Thumbs up, Paula K. Kathy Butler saying, remember how dirty your hands would get from using those actual coins? Yes. Remember the quarters and the dollar coin? Oh, my. I loved having cups full of them, but your hands would get black. Your hands would just be black, and they would give you those towelettes, and you would open them up, and then you would wipe your hand, and you would throw that in the garbage, and they give you another one for your other hand, and your hands would still be yucky. I mean, oh, you'd go to the bathroom and you wash your hands before you went to do your business. You had to wash your hands because they were that filthy. Oh, it's terrible, just terrible. Yeah, I remember that. But I miss the sounds. I miss. I used to walk by a bank of slot machines, and you'd hear that unmistakable sound of a slot machine pouring out quarters or dollar coins, just chunk, 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 chunk. And everyone would stop and take a look and see what was going on. It was just great for the atmosphere of the place. Now they have the bells and whistles, and we're so used to the bells and whistles, I don't think it matters anymore. But those were the good old days. Kathy Butler, I tried the $2 blackjack, but after a few drinks, math was out of the window, so I went to poker. Yeah, forget that. And Scott Batchy saying, the good old days. Used to go to the airport on a whim and hop on a $25 flight. It was so much fun. Flight to San Francisco for the afternoon. The old days, yeah, just, quick flight here, quick flight there, easy peasy. Or Southwest Airlines, Easy going now. Check in early. Bring your passport. Have this. Don't do that. Don't be in a good mood. You're in a security line. Don't be smiling. Don't be having a good day. Oh my gosh. Not so much fun anymore. Debbie Emanuel, I loved having to wash my hands due to the coins. Also took longer to lose money putting one coin in at a time. Well, the casinos figured that out, didn't they? Yeah, you could make a $10 bill last a long time on the nickel slots using nickels. Debbie Manuel, I loved having to wash my hands due to the coins. Yeah, those were the days. Those were the days. Kathy Butler, yes, Debbie, your money lasted a lot longer. Not now. It's a whole new game now. It's all different. Yeah, just not the same. Uh, what I find frustrating is that you're playing one machine, and then two machines over there's a guy that wins 10 grand, and then 15 minutes later, that same guy is over there, 5 machines away. He wins 5 grand over there. And you just sitting there going, "What am I, chopped liver?" Yes, you are. You're chopped liver. What are you going to do? The stories in Vegas. I missed the buffets, the really good price buffets, and remember the $1.99 hot dog you could get right beside Circus Circus. They had what's it called, the Mint, or maybe not the Mint. It was a small little casino. It was all like a freestanding little building, and it was filled with just slot machines, really, and a couple of roulette wheels and a couple of blackjack tables. But they were famous for the foot long, 1 pound, 99-cent hot dog. I think it was a 99-cent hot dog, and you could put the toppings on it. And you could have the cheese on there. You put bacon on there, and they'd have lineups for people all day long, all night long, grabbing one of these 99-cent hot dogs, and then you buy the $1 drink, so you spend $2. And then you felt rich enough to drop $15 in the slot machine or $20 in the slot machine. You'd leave full, but you'd leave with the money back in the casino. The casino made the money anyway, but the hot dog was the way to get you in. 99-cent, foot-long, 1 pound hot dog. Remember that. Laugh out loud, Scott. My dad used to enjoy those too. He loved that. My parents would go to Vegas 6 weeks in the fall and 6 weeks in the winter every year. They would head down. They used to live here in Creston. This used to be in this house, and they would drive from here to the border 3 miles away. And now they're in the USA. And the first day they would drive all the way to Jackpot, Nevada, from here to Jackpot, and get the first night in there. And then the next afternoon, by 4 in the afternoon, they'd be in Las Vegas, and they would stay at the Circus Circus for 6 weeks. And they would get a killer room rates. They get $12 rates, $14 room rates, $20 room rates. And then they were playing in the poker room, and the casino managers would give them vouchers for the steakhouse like there was no tomorrow. They would get buffet passes all the time. They would get credits against their room charges, comp this, comp that. And my dad would tell me, he'd come home and he'd say, "Let me give you the numbers for Vegas." I said, "Okay, Dad. Tell me how did this trip go?" And he would tell me, "Well, we were down there for 42 days and we spent $385. Insane. Yeah, that doesn't happen anymore. But those are the good old days. He actually had a steam bath with Siegfried from Siegfried and Roy. He shared a steam bath with Siegfried. There was a health club about a block away from the Circus Circus off the strip, where the locals would go. This is where all the locals came. And my dad figured it out. If he went and showed them his room key from the Circus Circus, instead of paying $8 to get in, he'd pay $4. You could use all these facilities. That'd be the 90s, by the way. And he'd be in the steam room because he loved being in the steam room. So one day he says, "Yeah, I'm in the steam room." In comes this guy with this platinum blonde hair. It's Siegfried from Siegfried and Roy. I know that guy. They started talking in German because he's from Austria. And so the two of them are talking. They must have been there for half an hour, just talking and talking and talking. He said a pleasant chap, had a lovely chat with him. And I asked him, "Do you come in here very often?" He says, "Every day." He says, "I come in here for about an hour to do a little workout, to stretch my muscles and, keep toned. And then to come into the steam room to loosen up. Because I got from here, I go to the hotel to put on the show and the Mirage. At that time, he was working the Mirage with Roy. That's what he did. Yeah, pretty cool. Let's see here. Was it Slots of Fun? Yes, Wes Morrison. It was Slots of Fun right beside the Circus Circus. and it was the 99-cent foot-long hot dog. Yes, sir. Kathy Butler saying, Scott, hope you had clean undies on like your mom always warned you about. The true story, lost too much weight. He said he took a flight not so long ago, took my belt off, and my shorts were by my ankles. That's a whole new kind of security check right there, folks. Oh, my goodness. Yes, you got to be careful, Scott. Hang on. Lost too much weight. Okay, I'll go with that. Whitey tighties, Christine Shan. Yeah, she's saying whitey tighties. That's funny. Scott, oh, hey, Scott. Evidently, the TSA didn't require a pat down in your case. You're not hiding anything. Scott, like that one with Bob. That's good. A good line. Have I ever told you the time I had a steam bath with Tom Jones? You want stories from Vegas? I got stories from Vegas. I had a steam bath with Tom Jones. Yes, sir, I did. I made a video about it. It's in my playlist, so you know you like a good story. I had a steam bath with Tom Jones, 1980, 85, 85, 86 was the year. And Tom Jones, 32 years ago, he was 32 years younger than he is now. He was in his mid-40s and in pretty good condition. Delightful gentleman, delightful man. And my mother was down in Vegas at the time with my dad and my sisters, and I had arranged to meet them after I had had my massage. I had a steam bath and a massage in the MGM Grand at that time. And I had arranged to meet them in the lobby area somewhere. And I came out and I looked at my mom. I said, "Mom, you're never gonna guess. You're never gonna guess who I had a steam bath with today." "Oh, who'd you see?" "Oh, Mom, I had a steam bath with Tom Jones." And she looked at me and went, "You had a steam bath with Tom Jones? Is it true what they say?" My sisters were kind of going, "Oh God, Mom." I put my arm around her and I said, "No, Mommy, dearest, just so you know, in the steam bath, we still wear towels around our waist. We are gentlemen after all." And I didn't actually come up to Tom Jones and say, "Listen, you got to understand something, Tom. Look, I'm meeting my mom in the lobby in about 15 minutes after I get out of here, and she's going to be curious, you know, what's going on here. So if you don't mind, you mind if I kind of, if I could just lift your towel, take a little peek under there? It's just for her. It's not for me. I just want to, would that be okay with you, Mr. Jones?" "I'm not going to do that." So, Mom, I don't know if it was true. I really don't know. He's a very nice guy. We had a lovely chat. There was another gentleman in the team, and the two of them were really talking more than I was. I was more like listening to what was going on. But he looked good. He looked good. Tom Jones looked good. He worked hard. He worked very hard. Great video. I love that video. If you guys get a chance to see it, check it out. It's in my videos. I had a steam bath with Tom Jones. True. It's a true story. Okay. Any more questions for you? I don't know if I have any more questions for you. I was going to ask you. I did ask the folks earlier today the best cruise deal you ever got. What's the best cruise deal you got? Your travel agent got you? You found on the internet? You booked through the site itself? By the time you got the credits and everything else, what was the best deal? You want to tell me that story? That would be great. I have another little thing here I was going to mention today. Let me just check my messages here. Shall we measure? Debbie is asking, shall we measure? And Kathy Butler, oh, wow, Charlie, you had a MG and saw Elvis. You were living the life. I was just going to do a little thing here. I was looking up today on Expedia.com or Travelocity.com, one of those sites, and for just for giggles, I was looking up Miami, Florida, 4 or 5 star resorts, beachfront resorts. How much does it cost to stay at a beachfront resort of that caliber nowadays? And I found the Fontainebleau resort, the hotel and resort. iconic building, of course. And I looked it up, and I was just shocked, I found all these offers. You know, book your room now, book your room now. 100 people are looking at this room. You better hurry up and book your room now. Yeah, well, yeah, we're looking because we can't believe what we're looking at. A room that had a bay view. Just you're not looking at the ocean. It's right there. The ocean's right there. You're looking behind the hotel. Yeah, a bay view. Those were something like about 400 American a night. And if you wanted an ocean view, a junior suite, something like that, 1,100 Canadian. It was about 900 American a night for those rooms. And I thought, wow, you haven't got food yet. You haven't got anything to drink. You haven't got entertainment. And then there's the resort fee. Oh my gosh, a resort fee per week, $160 additional on top. Then the taxes and the fees, $200 something additional again. And they were looking for, in my case, they were asking me for Canadian, something like $9,800 Canadian for a week. Would you like to book it now? It's 9,800 Canadian dollars. But look at all the points we'll give you on Expedia.com. I think it was Expedia too I was looking at. Oh my gosh, I couldn't believe it. I thought, man, what kind of a cruise can I take for 7,000 American dollars for two people? Pretty darn nice cruise. And if I limit it to a 1 week cruise, oh my goodness, have I got options for a fantastic. We're talking 600 a night per person. That's a nice cruise. But if I wanted to take a back-to-back, 2 7-night cruises on Norwegian or on Holland America, we're still paying less. It's incredible, the difference. I was just shocked at that. And I thought about the amenities that you'd have and you wouldn't have versus a cruise ship, and went down the amenities on a cruise ship, like the entertainment, live shows, the casino, of course. What else doesn't the hotel have? How about a movie theater on board? There's the one on the pool deck, and then there's one inside the indoor movie theater. How about bumper cars? Royal Caribbean bumper cars, ice skating rink. You haven't got one of those at the Fontainebleau. Zip lines, bowling, billiards. How about wall climbing and wave rider machines? And the water rides. You bring your children to the Fontainebleau, you're wasting your money. Why would you bring young kids to the Fontainebleau? That's a 5-star resort. That's really adult only. You don't really want to do it. And the costs, oh my gosh, the costs. It was stunning. It was really stunning. And I found that really interesting how, the Fontainebleau, those poor guys, they can't pick up that hotel and move it. It's stuck there. So whatever the city taxes are, the city taxes are. Whatever the state taxes and county taxes are, you got to pay them. You can't move your business somewhere else. Cruise ship, don't like the deal over in this port, we'll just move the ship to another port. Thank you very much. You want to charge me too much money to park my ship over here in this island? That's all right. We'll just go to another island. See you around. There's a whole lot of islands love to have us, and we keep those prices low for our customers. Pretty interesting stuff, I thought. Very cool. Let's see here. W. Manuel, go-kart racetracks. That's right, go-kart racetracks. Laser tag as well now, laser tag. And then for the kids, you got the kid zones, the kid clubs, the water parks. My goodness, it's just unbelievable. The buffet restaurant, if you just want to schlep in the buffet, or you got the steakhouse, or you got the main dining room, or you got the bistro cafe over here, you got this restaurant over here, you got the Italian, you got the sushi, you got the, you name it. There's got to be something you like, and it's all in one place. Cruise ships have got resorts beat hands down when it comes to that. Plus, different view every day. Wow, and you truly are beachfront. You're not looking out over a bay view on a cruise ship. You're looking out over beautiful views every day, especially in the Caribbean. Man, have you got it made. Absolutely fantastic. Soulfully Music has just popped in. He's saying was checking in on a hotel in Thailand, and a German guy who was checking out said to me, the rates are bad. The rates are bad. I said, never mind. I got a good deal. Later, I'm in my room. 2 rats come out from under my bed. The rates are bad. The rates are bad. That would be, I'd classify that as a bad experience in a hotel, wouldn't you, folks? Yikes. Yeah, I wouldn't want that. I wouldn't want that on anybody. Just terrible. Unbelievable. Well, anyway, folks, I think I'm going to pack it in here. It is now 9:27 Eastern time. Might be bedtime for some of you folks out there in the East. It's getting kind of late. I hope you've enjoyed my second ever prime time Traveling with Bruce show. Tomorrow's Friday. Thank God for that. I'll be on at 5 o'clock Eastern, as always, tomorrow evening Eastern time. And I'm on Saturday at 2 o'clock. And look forward to seeing you. I'm heading to Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, hopefully on Sunday to do a little shopping at the Costco. Anybody want to do a meet and greet in Coeur d'Alene? Fly out, fly to Spokane, rent a car, come to Coeur d'Alene, Costco, look for me, talk to me for 10 minutes, get in your car, drive back to Costco, Spokane, fly back home where you came from, and tell your friends, I saw Bruce. I saw him in person. This is great. Otherwise, maybe we'll do it on a cruise. But I want to head to the Costco in Coeur d'Alene, pick up some deals, and bring them back to Canada. I can get gas for $1 a gallon less, maybe $1.50. And I'm going to get myself one of those chicken bakes at Costco. Kind of like those. So I hope you've enjoyed today's show. I enjoyed it. Had a lot of fun. How many thumbs ups did we get? How did we do? 32 thumbs ups. I can't complain about that. I don't think we're more than 40 people watching. We love that. Thank you, everybody, for your thumbs ups today. Thank you for the super chat today. That helped again. And then earlier today for super chat and the Patreon pledge. Oh, I love you guys if you're doing Patreon for me. Oh, my goodness. I know that's coming in every month. Wonderful to know. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow at 5, Saturday at 2. And if I don't see you in the next couple of days, have a great week, and we'll talk to you then on Monday. So I'm going to say my goodbyes here. Kathy saying goodnight. Bob saying goodnight now. Debbie Emanuel. Wes Morrison saying goodbye as well. Kathy Butler. Thanks again, Soulful of Music, for popping in. Christine, was great to see you. Scott Batchley, of course. Wes Morrison, good to see you too. Charlie Baum, was great to have you here. Paula Kay. And Kelly, was good to see you again, Kelly Stanovic. Who else was here tonight? Just going back. Steaming Bean, see you, pal. Have a good night. Paula Kay. Crash 3X popped in saying hi. Matt was here. Matt Wilson, thanks, Matt, for popping in again tonight. It was good to see you. Anna EP was here. PJ Drayton was here. Thank you for your visit today. Matt Wilson, there he is. And I think we're catching up. Barry was here. Hey, Barry, it was good to have you earlier today. Thanks for having popped by. And S. Swan was here. I think I've kind of caught everybody here. And, of course, Patrick, for your donation. Thank you so much. $5.60. That's a record. That's the most American money I've ever had sent to me. Fantastic. Matt Wilson. George McCrower. Thanks, George, for having popped in again. Heather was here. Charles Jordan. And I'm up to speed. So, guys, have yourselves a good evening. Thanks for everything. A camera guy was here. No churro. Hey, camera guy. Thanks for popping by at the very end there. Have a great evening, guys, and we'll talk to you tomorrow, and we'll see you, okay? Good night, everybody. Bye-bye.